Welcome to Classic Episode 2. Now, I finally found a farm, and this is the one on the right key that we have. This is old time. It's only 9 fields. I think 2, 6 are probably bigger than I need, and 3 I can probably grass down the sides on those. But we're going to try and farm the old-fashioned way. As I farm, well, I just chat about it a bit. Now we're going to start with only 4 fields the first year. Well, 3 fields actually planned, because I'm going to do the 4-year rotation, which is 3 years crop and 1 year fallow. In the old days, in the 50s and 60s, that fallow year was when you turn the animals out onto that field. Normally after you've done root crops like sugar beet, because sheep especially used to like eating the tops and tails of beet. But we can't do that here. I can't do any earth fruit at all because there's frankly no machinery. There wasn't much about it then. It was, give you some idea, the lifters were in, but that's about all they did. You used to lift the beet to the surface, and only a single, possibly 2 row lifter. And the first set of farm hands would come along behind with sharp knives, toppling and tiling them, and just cutting the tops off and the roots off, tossing those behind them, where the second row would come along and they'd be picking them up and tossing them into the trailer. So it's very labour intensive. But we can't do that, we can't even replicate that on this. I can't do sheep because with the modern farm sim, the pallets are too big and there is no actual pallet fork available. I'll just show you what we've got in the way of tools we're playing with for the start of. Well, we've got someone made a Farming Sim 15 version that is complete with the standard cutter. This silo is new in, I'll talk about that a little bit later, the forage gatherer front loader, which only has a bucket and a fork. That's it. Now you can see it's a little bit thing. So I shan't be doing bales because I think you can pick the bales up using the fork, but I'm not going to risk it, and I've got no way of threading the bales anyway, so they only go into the bale destroyer. The other tractor is the powerful one, the 54 horse. This is a 38 horse. We've got a 54 horse. Grass cutter, fertiliser spreader, plough, cultivator, trailer. I'm not looking forward to using this trailer. There's a dolly and I am useless at doing dollies. Maize header, there wasn't one in the original pack. Someone made one for it. This is it. We got, let's see, this one. Oh, that's the tedder. That's the forage cutter, seeder, and your rake. Some of these are not from the actual official pack. These are older ones that someone else had converted over, but these are slightly bigger normally than the standard ones, so I've gone for those. There's also a whole load of other stuff. We'll just have a look at it. Start with the tractors. As you see, there's a few tractors. These all from that pack. There's this one here which I'm going to try a bit later. 3-cylinder diesel. Alright, then we look at front loader. Where you've seen the front loader, halves you've seen, headers you've seen, tipper. There's only that. I thought the stuff from the Apple pack would work, but no, too big, far out of scale. Plough, cultivator, sowing machine. Well, we've seen all those. Manure spreader, here we are. I'm not certain which of those it doesn't seem to make much difference, but that's a manure spreader. At least that it's only a rear axle. Slurry tanker, there's the one here which is 1,000 litre. This is also 1,000 litres, so it makes no difference. That's a mole which we're seeing, the tether we're seeing, windroll we're seeing, and the load leg. I think, the baling technology. I may just do one with the balers later, just dump them into the bale destroyer. But I'm not going to do it from the start. It's the baler. Baler looks quite good, as does the bale loader. And I don't think it's... Oh, there's a water tank, which we don't really want on this because there isn't any need for water. And that, I think, is about it. I'm going to be making use of the... I put that packing because I want to see if I could use it. And we'll probably be using placeable heaps. Right. Oh, good. I'm glad I got enough money. Clicked the wrong button. But that's it. Well, what we're going to do first is just check the map out again. I'm going to start off down 7, 8, 9. That's the 3 I'm going to do this year. And I'm going to count to 4. I think that's the fallow field. I'm not going to do much each episode. I'm still finding my way around here. I've got to swing completely around. This is the front loader. I'm using this mainly because I want to keep the number of tractors down from the start. You see, I haven't even cleared anything out the yard yet. It's still all here. So what I'm going to do is fertilise these fields. I shall most probably make use of GPS because I can't quite see the sense of not. It's got to find a way into this. Into these fields. I think we're going around the circle. Trying to find the entrance to 7. What I've done is I've cultivated them all off screen because they were all cropped and I wanted to get rid of the crops. I thought we'd start with a completely bare field. Let's start over this side. I think it was about 7.5 metre width. So we'll go back here. I'm going to course play some things, but course play don't really like these small machines. They are too small for it. Work with 7.4. We'll live with that. That looks like that's about right. I don't think speed is going to come into it too much. I'll just mull it over. It's right about here, I should think. I'm up there and put in new, and yes, that will do. Only be missing, gonna matter. So I'm going to just concentrate on this field today. Hopefully, just get it fertilised and seeded. And we'll do the same with 8 and 9 next time. So I'm going to do a wheat, barley, wheat one here, barley the next. Then most probably maize for forage, ready for when we get cattle. And remember, there is no BGA. There wasn't. Just wasn't a BGA then. So it's another quite new thing. And silage, I'm going to use that silo, which was more typical, certainly around this area, back in the day. There we are, that's working. But they had massive problems. One thing, because they were made of steel plate mainly, galvanised steel, not that thick, was galvanised uprights of skeleton. But one of the problems being that the stuff when it's fermenting, is quite acidic. It used to just burn the bins away. Gill through the galvanising, and the next thing you know, it's gone into the steel. And also, what's the stuff is fermenting? It's also, of course, producing gas, expanding. So you had weakened sides of the bins, plus pressures building up inside. They used to split. There were vents in them, but towards the fence, you get some dust on, get some water on the dust, then some sun bakes it on, and it's harder than concrete. Gas just didn't escape very well. One of the reasons that you very rarely see, in Britain especially, shall we say, not so Britain, but around this region, you very rarely now see silos, or silage silos. You see silos, certainly grind silos, but very rarely silos for silage. So I've actually got those in. There's 2 bunkers built into the farm. So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing mainly barley and wheat with some forage. We can do a double wheat, double barley if we wish, but every 4th year the field will be fallow. There'll be nothing growing on it. I can't really replicate letting the animals on. If you think about it, one of the things that happened letting the animals on, they got, whoa. One of the problems with these things too is no weights to them. Just going to lift that up a bit just in case that's hitting. Yeah, so but I will just put some fertiliser down on the fallow year. I did think with grass, and then I thought the problem using it too thorough plough. It's bad enough using 1.8 plough, and the modern base equipment, they're using a too thorough 1 metre or 0.9 of a metre plough. I'm mad, but not quite that mad. Don't all disagree at once. I should go around to the headlands. We'll just about run out anyway. Alright, I think what we'll do is see if we can find our way back to the farm. Oh, it should be fun. And come back to that. I made myself 100,000 in debt to the bank, which in those days was a lot of money, believe me. I'm talking about the 50s and early 60s. Most equipment is roughly the right era, not dead on, but it's close enough. And I will be looking for more, well, not too many more tractors. I've got plenty of tractors. Tractors are not the problem doing this, it's the other stuff. Nobody seems to make decent, where's this word? Decent old equipment. Well, because you think about it, there's no real need, there's no one doing it. Oh, I will be on chickens on that. Here we are. Don't really want course play up there, thank you. So everything will be done at a very slow pace. Don't expect anything. Don't expect me to go out and buy all new machinery, because I can't. This is just to see if it's possible and run it on hard, as is my wont. Mainly to make it a bit more realistic. But I can't do full realism. Normally too in those days you didn't fertilise a lot, you didn't use artificial. Most the small farms anyway were mixed arable and livestock. The livestock was there to give a bit of income but also to produce manure for the fields. You think about it, makes a lot of sense. Also I'm going to have to try and find long straw grain, wheat and barley. The short stuff we've got now is nothing like it used to be grown. It used to be almost 3 foot high, probably even a bit more. Now you're talking about 9 inches a foot, some of it. It was really tall stuff because the straw was very useful. The straw not only bedded the animals down, but also it was used for thatching. If people couldn't afford to have Norfolk reed on, they'd have straw on. And also the farmers used the straw to cover the haystacks. And I will be using hay rather than grass, by the way. I've got that teddle not to use it. And that's one of the reasons I'm going to use the placeable heaps. So I can actually place what will be the haystack. So I can get this. Just to do this, I do one more pass. I'm not going to bother the head links at the end. They should be fine. Can't remember if I put the animals 8 and 9 ahead of us. Well, we've got to come around if we can do something. We can come around and do it. Why not indeed? Yeah, one day I'm going to make a decision and stick to it. No, artificial was not used that much. It was really the start of using artificial and also the start of using rations made by third parties. You think in those days the pigs were normally still all fed on swill. Take this out. I don't want this anymore. Just wanna... come around and just finish up the rest of this until we empty this thing out. Things have changed up. It's talking about there was still farming this time of day. There's still some farms still using horses. Not many, admittedly, but still one or two, and still quite a number using steam engines for farming. Certainly the steam stationary engine is still having a lot of use. Still used for thrashing. The early combines used to flat fire as quick as look at them. Now, there's one other thing we won't be able to do from this period. I was used to, when you took the straw off the field, after you harvest took the straw off, your next job was to set fire to the stubble. I'm guessing most of you can see the main problem with that. The fires used to get out of control. And it didn't happen just once or twice, it happened regularly every year. The fire brigade had a full-time job putting out field fires. I think they got fed up with it, which is one of the reasons that practice went out of use. And we just bung this into a shed. Sheds look, actually the brickwork in these sheds look too good, but pop that in here. least the fill plough disappears at the correct rate. Now, what do we do with the seeder? I'm going to use this one again. I don't think I need a lot of power. I actually still got to find out where the seeds kept. After the first one, you'll see though. I think it must be through the back here. So it's all the way through here. It's a little bit tight. Alright. Now the other thing I'm doing while I'm using drive and drive, I try not to use 4-wheel drive because I want such a thing. Now I've got the other one sort of lined up, almost lined up, so I'll park this up. I'll use the other track. And yes, I have got the sound on there. Looks like it's the right way. Letting the brakes off sound a bit strange on the air brakes on these things. Actually, having brakes at work was quite a novelty of the day. Now, all we're doing now is fine. I think that's a straw destroyer in there. I'm hoping it is anyway. I guess that the seed store is somewhere near the fertilizer store. We have a tip here. You'd normally, not many farms had tips, but a few did. And we're one of them. We also got a conveyor system for getting the stuff out again. Just going to put the F1 menu up here to see if there's a seed switch here. No. I wonder what this tank is. Maybe seed anyway. Let's put it on the other side. No, I just had to get out and walk around. Is that okay? Huh. Ah, it's in there. I've got a good trigger on it. Right, we're going to put wheat in the first one. No, but just find it all white. Seven, we're facing the wrong way there. Out of the way, Corporal. Really must move that maize header and the grass cutter. My father worked for many years after the war on a farm dealing with horses. And he used to tell me many a tale about them. Some of them weren't that complimentary. Right, we have no such thing on these. I don't think as marks, no. And this won't actually run very fast, so I'm going to course, not course, but I'm going to bring this up again. That gets in the way. Just the width should be about 2.2 meters. Yes, no offset, no. And I need to slow. I wouldn't have thought you'd be seeing much more, about 5-6 mile an hour, if that, to be honest. Can we move that over? I always get this wrong, so yes, I do. Don't want to try and get it any closer than that. Turn it down. it went. Right, now we have to lower it. It's all switch on this thing. Yes, it is. So switch it on, lower it, and hit cruise. That's probably still a bit quick, because remember a lot of this stuff, if you ever look at it, this ain't far short of the horse-drawn stuff they were using. So I think I'm gonna just slow cruise down some more. Everything will be done at a very slow pace. Because these are all mechanical, remember? These are driven by the wheels. You can see the gearbox and the gears there. Actually, the gear there is moving. It's not a bad model. I can't remember what they've done on 13. I use these on 14, but I just cannot remember how they went on there. Not back. I was going to say in cab, but in the seat. It's got no roll bars, no cab. At range you got wet. Oh, this was when men were men. You know, I don't want to go back to those days. No, I can't actually hop right out, I just don't care. Yes, yes. Yes, the cogs are moving. No. Stuff I should be going up and down in check, because I think you can't have everything. That does look a nice little model. It's a pity that there's no, or very little, actually British iron, or British equipment. I would love someone, and if any modders out there, hinting, to make me a field marshal. Series 1, 2 or 3, I don't care. But I would love one of those to use on here. At the time, I'm not going to actually finish this field on screen, I should finish it off screen. Get how big this field is. We can find out actually. And this is field 7. Let's have a look. Call that up. Go on there. 6, 7. Yeah, this is 0.66 hectares, so that's really the sort of biggest I want the fields to be. It was today a very small field before they got down to putting the fields all into one, destroying the hedgerows, and there wasn't many herbicides either these days. There were some, but again not many, and most farmers didn't bother. It wasn't worthwhile. Everybody had. I still remember as a kid seeing a wheat and barley field, a massive red as the poppies were flowering in them. And one thing we won't have a lot of the back then was rape. No looking out in the summer and seeing just nothing but yellow as the rape was in flower. No having problems with your sinuses because the rape was affecting it. There was some being grown, but very little. In fact, what the main oil crop then would have been linseed. Especially in this region. Because lavender was also grown a bit, not so much for that, but for the perfume trade. Lavender's still been grown in the county, but not going to the extent it used to be. So what I should do is put maize, and talk about maize for a little bit. That most of that would have went for forage, and those every so often you'd grow one crop for the local feed mill. It went into feed basically in this country, animal feed. And one of my previous jobs was working on a feed mill. I remember the amount of maize we used to get for the chicken. And chickens. Oh, and a funny little story about that. You might remember, and this would be in the 70s, there was a big fuss about the fact that chickens were beginning to taste of fish. It wasn't really surprising with the amount of fish meal we were shoving into things. There was a massive amount going in. Before the fish quotas and that, and fish book wasn't good enough to sell. Used to go down feed places as a meal. I think actually I have to take this over slightly, increase the whip faster on that. Oh well, not bother. Do it another 5 minutes and I think that'll be roughly half an hour. I'm trying to make it somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes. This is really a bit of fun, just to get some idea what it's like farming back when I was a boy. Now, so we didn't, all these mates which are in here because the Continental wasn't many around here. We'd be using Ferguson's, Fordson's, Field Marshalls, Nuffields, and that type of thing. A few would be having John Deere's, some Internationals, but the majority would have been British built, not British owned, though, because Fordson of course was owned by Ford. We're getting through the seeds. Oh, let's finish this. Yeah, well, we'll finish this seed off in this one, and I'm going to refill, call it. We'll call an episode. I'll be more interesting when we get the animals going, all the cattle going. So the chickens I've used, but that's just to sell the eggs. They basically don't cost anything. The base game, and this is what we're playing. It's a base game with this map. As for the map, I'm not going to give where I got it from because I'm not certain which side's up the right dirt. And Mod Hoster, which is my favourite for having it right, has it, but the author has showed it on Uploader, and I refuse point blank to use Uploader for anything, and certainly not maps. I'm not paying to have a proper download speed, and I'm certainly not going to wait a couple of 3 hours on my very fast and efficient speed for that to download for the freebie. I found it on one of the other ones, and that was on, I think it's Sheer Mods, which is near enough full speed download. I've got to point now to say upload it, because on upload it and it's nowhere else, I'm not going to have it. Pure and simple. I don't mind dropping the model direct if they put in a donate button. I'm buggered if I'm given up loader any money. And that's me being fairly robust. Down to 5%. I don't think I'm going to do another pass. So we'll go back to the farm and call it there. So I remember which side we were on. Oh wow, that's handy. There. Yes, I noticed these fields are more on one way in and out, but you know my thing, and I was just gone the wrong way. Just as talking about how bad I am at pathfinding, I go the wrong way. Good job, these things are quite fuel efficient. I think coming out different ways, so I'll go with I'll make up my mind. I meant the ditches in there, but I don't think it's too bad. I think there's a way in here. So I'm still finding my way around the farm. I don't know why. Oh, this is the sheep place. And that's why I'm not going to use sheep, because I can't move those wool bale. And I'm not going to break the idea of it by putting in a modern tractor, a modern front loader. I don't know if anybody heard that, but it's actually got the squeaking the brakes on there. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with these old things. I've been dying to find them. I'll try to find them for some time where I could actually use them. Which side is it? In there. Around the other side. I think there's a trigger one side, but not the other. Let's look by the side of that trigger. Let's find out. Yeah. The seed store. When we get these planted, we'll have a little walk around the farm. It doesn't take long. Anyway, with that, I'm going to call it here, and I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. If you like what you saw, please leave a like. It helps me in the channel. If you're not a subscriber and you like what you saw, consider subscribing. I'd be most appreciative. If you have any comments and know of any good old mods, not so much tractors but other equipment, and I'm talking about 50s and 60s and before, not the 70s, or 70s on, you're getting into the modern era there. Please let me know with a link, but not through Uploader. Thank you. And with that, it's Neil saying cheerio for now. Cheerio.